we heard from Ricky Stewart a little bit earlier, just wanting Jamal to do his job. He's got a fantastic kicking game and can really throw a bit of stability into this team.
And it will be at this time in 2 weeks on Fox League. We will have exclusive coverage of their first match of the season down at GIO Stadium when they take on the Sharks. And Jamal Fogarty on his Raiders debut here. The Titan wearing the number 7. And over we go to the Manly side, who are counting down to the start of the season proper. This time in 2 weeks, they will have played their first match. What a tussle for them at Penrith against the defending premiers. First up, look, lots of storylines into this game, but Corey, I've got to say, I'm incredibly excited to see Tolutau Koula in the 4 jumper with Jason Saab outside of him. It's got to be the fastest centre wing pairing I think we've ever had in rugby league.
Yeah, without doubt. He was terrific last week for the Manly Seagulls, and they got strike right across the park. I love the brand of football that the Manly play. They got some big outside backs. You mentioned speed. They have plenty of that, and that man on screen, what a season he had last year. 26 tries in 27 games. He'll be looking to emulate that again for the Manly Seagulls and looking to go one step better.
Yes, indeed, and it will be the Raiders to kick off. This is the first of 2 matches we have for you from Central Coast tonight. Roosters and Tigers second up. So Raiders and the Seagulls, their final hit out before the season kicks off in 2022, and Tapau with the first carry of the night over the 10-metre line. This playing surface at Central Coast Stadium, absolutely immaculate. And as you know, there's been plenty of rain all along the coast. Here on the Central Coast has been quite a deluge. On the right edge is Olakoautu for the Manly side. So it will be unlike last week. They brought with them 2 complete squads, not quite those numbers tonight for Manly. So more minutes for some of their key stars this evening. And on their first set outside the 40, Croker it is. And Trebojevic close to the ruck, takes a hit up like a front rower. Tom's back and he's ready to do the business. Cherry Evans, first kick of the night. For Manly, this will bring young Savage into play. This is exciting to see what he offers. We were teased by his talents last year in the fleeting appearances in first grade. Now what's happened to Tapau here? Gee, he's in pain for Manly. He sort of collapsed in slow motion to the ground, but wincing in pain, Marty Tapau. Marty Tapau there. You're right, more than, I know it looked drastic for the knee, but it was around the waist that he was really being stretched in a way he shouldn't be.
Well, by no means do we want to see Marty out of this game, but if it is the hip that's involved in this incident, it's a much better outcome than what it could be if it's the knee, obviously. it's good signs that he's been able to get back to his feet.
Well, great signs. You're not going to muck about in a trial match. He'll come for the full examination on the sideline, but the fact that he is now walking unaided,
Terrific signs.
very encouraging for Manly, albeit gingerly. But Marty Tapau and Des Hasler. So under the coach's box hasn't fogged up with the exhale of relief. Where we're calling from at Central Coast Stadium, we've got Ricky Stewart directly to our right, literally metres away through glass, and Des is about 10-15 metres away to our left. So we get a bit of a front row seat to the emotions of the coaches. So Raiders on their first possession of the match. And Whitehead it was. Gee, they've got some veterans in their side now, Canberra. People talk these days that the cliche, the premiership window. Some of them are now into their 30s. Papali'i with it, another one of the veterans in the pack, but still one of the best. Kepi had hold of his leg there. Hodgson, Tarpany, pushing it along. Whitehead. And up quickly on Wighton. Young Koula with the tackle. He'll feel emboldened by that first tackle on a player like Jack Wighton.
Yeah, really good defensive set from the Manly Seagulls. We see Tommy start to link up with Garrick down this left edge. Broke away from the tackle. And I mentioned about the brand of football that Manly played. Their first set, there was no frills. They were down through the middle of the field using all their forwards up. But they have game breakers right across the park.
I know viewers probably think we have a bit of a bromance with Tom Trbojevic, but it is, you know, it is quite amazing his involvement so early. Here he is again. He is in the game every play. He is in position to take a pass, to take a run every play.
Well, we were lucky enough down in the pre-game show there before as the Manly Seagulls come down this left edge through Brad Parker to see Kieran Foran hit it off the ball, to see some of the up-close footage of what Tommy Trbojevic is able to do. He's so big. I don't think the viewers at home understand how big Tommy Trbojevic is. He's 6'3" or 4", just a late hit there on Kieran Foran, is able to draw the penalty. They'll be in great field position after this. He's so big, Vossi's so strong and so quick.
World Cup year, of course. That's a long way down the track, but now viewers through the UK, Tom could be headed your way, Tommy Turbo. So Manly first real chance of points in the match. 10 metres away from the Canberra line. Sipley is the player on for Tapau. He's now only 3 from the line, and Canberra feel a bit of early heat. As Trbojevic, Cherry Evans, overlap is there. Look who's there with the ball. Great defence. Raiders, everyone piles up. Wighton, Chotrich there. There was 4 of them. That's quite brilliant from Canberra early.
That was excellent goal line defence, though. First instance up and out at the Manly Seagulls. Tommy Trbojevic, we've seen him do that so many times last year. 28 tries he got. This time the Canberra Raiders in their first assignment of the afternoon, they come up with a wonderful play.
And Tomoko was the man underneath, the young centre. He needed help, obviously. But mission accomplished for the Raiders.
Showed great patience out there in the centre
to stop the unstoppable from last year. So now Whitehead. And Canberra putting on some attack of their own. Valamay hit the deck. He was taken without the ball, but no penalty. Hodgson, the kicker, nicely placed, right to the corner. This will bring Trbojevic into the game again. He's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, nice play, Josh Hodgson, third tackle. Come up with a beautiful little kick, trying to turn attack into defence now as they ask Ruben Garrick to come off his own line as they get 4 into the tackle, the Canberra Raiders.
That was quite that was a top shelf set of 6 from the Raiders to go from 20-metre restart to kick to the corner. That's right out of the playbook. What Ricky would want to see from his team: try-saving tackle in corner, quick regroup, recovery, perfect set. Let's go down to the sideline for the first time tonight, enjoying the conditions here at Central Coast Stadium. Jake Duke
Yeah, good evening, Vossi. It is nice that the rain has held off for now. Hopefully that stays the way for the rest of the 2 matches we have here tonight. But just a little bit of an update on Marty Tapau. The early diagnosis, it is a lower back injury. He's still being assessed by the doctors. Obviously, with it being a trial, he's very unlikely to return tonight. But lower back, the severity of it still unknown, but I'll keep you updated when I know more about that.
All right.
Just see a 7-tackle set given away there by the Manly Seagulls, but the man that replaced the injured player for the Manly Seagulls, Sipley, he was very slow coming out of backfield. Looks to have shaken off what it may have been. But Tapau, very unlikely we'll see him again this afternoon.
Tigers are in the house for the next game against the Roosters. Jackson Hastings named in the Tigers side. That's of particular interest to West's fans. And Canberra ball dribbles over the sideline. That time, some crunching defence from Brad Parker earns the accolades of his teammates. Ruben Garrick there as well. And this is high quality that's been exhibited by these two teams.
Yeah, plenty of variety from the Canberra Raiders coming out of their own end. This time it was a little link up between the two middle forwards before Brad Parker. What a season he had last year. Just the stability he was able to give to this left edge of the Manly Seagulls. Not one of the more noted centres in the game, but highly regarded by his teammates.
Great to have another local junior starring in the maroon and white. So this scrum, 15 metres inside the Manly half. Pre-season action exclusive to Fox League on this last weekend of summer. So simply got through the first tackle, not the second. Whitehead and Hodgson combined there. This time with Kepi. There's another one on an upward path in his NRL career. Been a big improver, Sean Kepi. Trbojevic, foreign, working to the left edge. Pulling more, the former Bronco. 35 away from the Canberra line. Jake Trbojevic, nice and flat, Kepi.
Great play.
Almost through the tackle there. Hudson Young just had him. Now Cherry Evans on the last. Outside chases, maybe offside. Koula got it on the full. And then Saab comes into the play and he was offside. He just couldn't help himself.
Well, it's terrific lead-up play. Jake Trbojevic able to get Kepi, poked his nose through. It was a poor pass out of dummy half, would just put everything off DCE, and the players outside him get their timing all wrong and come up with a relieving penalty for the Canberra Raiders, but a nice little set-up play from Jake in the middle third of the field.
So back with Hudson Young. 19 games in the top grade last year. He's now a permanent fixture of the Green Machine forward pack.
It's a great front line, isn't it, for the Canberra Raiders? You see Joe Tarpany and obviously Papali'i, what they can provide with the ball, but more importantly, off the ball defensively. Two noted big hitters.
I look at this pack and we think there's no reason why they should be better. They may be equal, but the Canberra pack on song should match it with any pack in the competition. Here's Tarpany, and they shift across, and that inside pass just dumped off for Elliott. Last play, Raiders, been another good set from them. Fogarty high, Trbojevic taken out of play. Sammy Valame, you've had a Michael Crocker.
He's seen all week. Sit Trbojevic under the ball. As soon as he catches it, you land on him. He gets it all wrong here. Doesn't even have eyes for the ball. Gets it all wrong. And what's been a terrific last couple of minutes for the Canberra Raiders, working really hard out of their own end. They got a relieving penalty. They come out with a nice set. They've come up with a couple of good kicks. Just all alleviates that pressure now. DCE takes his time. Just a leg up out of their own end.
Sebastian Chris out there for the Raiders on the right wing. NRL 360 returning to your screens on March 7 with Captain Braith Anasta and Paul Kent alongside him to dissect, debate, discuss everything Rugby League Monday through Wednesday right here on the home of Rugby League, Fox League. 24/7. Here's Jake Trebojevic, Cherry Evans with the ball. Nice little swerve, and Koula coming up, lost the ball in the tackle of Wighton. He smothered him like a bear hug there from Jack Wighton.
Yeah, well, Des Hasler in the opening 11 minutes would have some mixed emotions from what he's seen from his side so far. They've come up with some really good plays, some really good sets. In the last couple of sets, they've come up with some basic fundamental errors.
Saw from the sweat on Jack Wighton. It's a rather humid night, to be honest, here on the Central Coast. But as Jake reported, we're happy just not to have the rain.
Clock off. Arms around, Tom. Thank you. Hold the weight. I'll tell you when.
Who's in charge of this game? Last hit out for the referees this weekend. And we wish them all well, all the officials well, for the 2022 season. Now Valabay skirting around the defence. Back for Wighton. Koula hangs on there. Gets some redemption there. Raiders off a quick play the ball. There's some real promise about the Raiders' performance so far tonight. This is a quality match so far. Big line to the right. Wighton, Whitehead, Hodgson, misses out Papali'i, Fogarty to Elliott. Parker technically perfect there. And Manly able to shut it down, but a quick shift again from the Raiders. Tarpany, we know he can offload. We saw it on a number of occasions in the All-Stars. Last play, Canberra. Hodgson, Fogarty calling the shots. They run it, intercept. Saab to catch him. Here comes Xavier Savage. Saab's got him covered, and then some. Is he the fastest in the competition? He will tell you he is. And he shut it down like a drag race to well short of the quarter mile there. Jason Saab.
Well, how often did we see this last year? Jason Saab, we see the Canberra Raiders through Jamal Fogarty come down this left-hand edge. Jack Wighton goes the long ball. Saab's 6'6" and can run like the wind, like you mentioned, Bossy. We see Savage come late. And yeah, he just shuts it down with 25 to go. Able to turn defence straight into attack. You mentioned straight off the top about the speed that is possessed by this Manly Seagulls. None quicker in the competition than that man.
I tell you, Corey, a couple of weeks ago I sat down with Jason, just have a chat with him for The Fan this year on Fox League. It's not arrogance, but it's a real confidence. And there is a distinct difference. Like, he talks it up. He doesn't mind talking it up about the speed that he possesses and the confidence he has that he will back himself every time.
Well, there'd be no better feeling knowing once you catch the ball that nobody on the field is catching you. And I love the confidence that he's able to show. And in particular, some of the players in our game that really light up the rugby league field.
Lock me in, Corey, for Saab leading try scorer this year. There you go. Gamble responsibly. But lock me in for Saab leading try scorer in the NRL.
At what number, Vossi?
Oh, over 25. Okay. Over 25, probably closer to 30. Let's go to the sideline. Jake Duke.
Well, that's a good bet, Vossi, because he got 26 tries last year, Jason Saab, and as you mentioned, one of the quickest in the NRL. He says that he is the quickest, and the guy that might push him the most is his centre pairings tonight in Tolutau Koula. We all know that he ran the 10.58 in the GPS when he was 17 years old, but Saab says he's still got his measure, still got him covered, but that right edge for Manly, and this Manly side as a whole, they say they're the fastest team in the NRL, the fastest backline. They'll be very tough to handle this year if they all stay on the field and produce some of the performances they did last year. Jason Saab in full flight, what a sight.
Well, Corey, you're the coach in the box. You've done it before. Now, you don't mind this in tries. You want to see how your side reacts to something against the run of play there. See how Canberra react to that try being scored. It's all part of getting yourself ready for when it gets real, when you are playing for 2 competition points. Simply took that first run, and if you joined us late, we lost Marty Tapau in the opening minutes of the match and unlikely to return. Croker using Jake Trebojevic there, centre field. He's the granite of the pack. rock solid in the centre. Nice play from Manly getting on the front foot.
Yeah, wonderful set, backing up after points. The Manly Seagulls up over the advantage line, already over the halfway as Foran comes down this short side.
Using Parker, Valamay, good defence. Last tackle, Seagulls. Cherry Evans, flat-footed. Trbojevic follows through, not precise from DCE, and Canberra come up with a ball. The angle on the kick took Tom out of the play. He was the one to be chasing it through.
Look, it was a wonderful set from the Manly Seagulls, but twice now out of acting half, Daly Cherry Evans has copped a couple of shocking balls and is eliminating to put up a real pressure kick as they come up with a big defensive play here. Kieran Foran.
Be on the scrum, guys. Clock's on.
Yeah, there's a little error in Savage. We saw a few last week. I mean, most of his play was very good, but there's an error in his game as well.
Just keep working with these scrums and doing well so far.
There's no easy run, is there? You come into the line, you got Jake Trbojevic, possibly technically the best defender in the competition, and Foran, an old dog over the top, ripping into the rookie.
I
love that. I mean, I love that. There's a kid, trial, nothing soft about that.
No. He won't be the last person to get cut in half by Jake Trbojevic. Is now Manly.
Oh!
Jack Wighton wants to get part of the action.
That was a strong tackle.
Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, the top of Cherry Evans' head hit Wighton on the chin. It wasn't a headbutt, but there was some accidental contact that I don't think Jack was all that pleased about. That's 2 big tackles from Wighton so far tonight. Good sign.
Another great short pass from Jake Trbojevic in the middle third to Kepi.
So Manly, sloppy play the ball.
Behind his foot.
There you
Play it
go.
where you held. It's an incorrect play the way you lost control.
There you go. It's against Kepi. Front rows can't challenge in Greg Alexander's book, as we know on Fox League. So.
It's such an asset to have with your team. To have the lock forward, being able to play short. He's done it a few times. He's put Kepi one-on-one. This time he gets it wrong. Needs to get to his feet to play the ball. Probably an argument there that Josh Hodgson was in his way. But we see the likes of Victor Radley. We see Isaiah Yeo. It just creates some more creativity.
Locks in, please. Head in.
Second game tonight, you're going to see here from Central Coast Stadium, Tigers and Roosters. And then tomorrow, it is a super Saturday. 4 matches, back to back to back to back. And into the night they will go, including the Charity Shield from Mudgee. We look forward to be welcomed there to see the Dragons and the Rabbitohs playing for the first time. Thomas v George Burgess, and they'll both wear jumpers 16. First time in their lives. Never been against each other in any sporting contest in their life.
There you go.
So you'll see it here on Fox League. Raiders now with a bit of field position. 30 away from the Manly line. There's Wighton. Tarpany offload, good play Raiders, then Valamay along for Sebastian Chris, close to the sideline, over and out. Manly, good intensity about this trial. I think both coaches would like that.
They've got a great defensive left side, the Manly Seagulls. Happy for the Raiders to play early and just show on the sideline. We see Adam Elliott come this way before Sebastian Chris, and then the numbers come. Brad Parker, Ruben Garrick. Hold him up beautifully and take him out over the sideline. They need to have some straight runners. They need to play to the short runners first. They've gone out the back every opportunity. They've only completed 4 sets for the game.
That replay really showed up the thinking footballer close to the sideline, the way they held him up to be able to apply the drive. So the momentum remained in the tackle. Dylan Walker getting ready to come on. I can tell you from the warm-up, he played a big part in a lot of the Manly attack in getting ready for the match. He's become a bit of a super sub, to be honest, Dylan Walker.
Release! Hold! Wait!
He is now also in the very much seasoned class. There he is, straight away into the game. Brilliant defence. He's having a mixed night, Valamay, but there's more good than bad.
Hodgson coming in to give Dylan Walker his first taste.
Wait, Marcus, don't interfere.
Yeah, nice warm-up. Back for Cherry Evans, already a 40-20. Last week, Bit of fizz on that ball. Chris will bring it back. And trapped short of the 30-metre line. Going to see a number of newcomers again off the bench. We'll give you backstories to some of these young players you don't know well. And Raiders have come up with an error under some heavy Manly defence. They're packing a punch, the Seagulls defenders, and Jotrich has come up with the error.
We're going to start with the scrum again, drinks break.
There we go. We'll have a drinks break here at right on the 20-minute mark. So it'll be a Raiders, or rather a scrum after that. Marty Tapau will change. His night's over. Still a little ginger, as you can see.
It's terrific signs, though, isn't it, to see Marty able to walk around freely from what we saw in the opening set of the match. Such an important part of this team. As we go through some of the highlights already in this game. Some great goal line defence by the Canberra Raiders in their first real assignment. Tommy Turbo. We've seen so often in 2021 that comes up with 4 points. This side, they come through Fogarty. Wighton goes for the long ball up against 6'6" Saab, and then he hits the afterburners down that right-hand flank. Savage comes across to no avail. And the Manly Seagulls, who have dominated with field position and possession, are able to lead 6-0. Ricky Stewart, who's just beside us, Vossi, won't be impressed. 4 from 9 at 44% for the Canberra Raiders. Make things very difficult against such a potent attacking team like the Manly Seagulls.
There's a bit of Tommy Turbo in action over the opening quarter of the game. Busy as always. There's nothing about, taking it easy, last hit out, get ready for round one. Protect myself. He's in the thick of it.
Well, we saw last year at this same stage a very unsettled Manly Seagulls side. We see what they're able to come up with over the last couple of weeks. A very settled, and we see Paseka starting to poke his nose through.
You're seeing Kieran Foran feed that scrum. Crowding penalty there. There's 499 NRL games between Foran and Cherry Evans to start the season. They're sitting on 499 combined.
We talk about how important the spine is in the NRL. And that stat you've just mentioned, and the amount of games that they have been able to play together. Yes, Kieran Foran's been to a couple other sides, but there's no halves pairing in the competition that have played more than those two.
So now Jake Trbojevic, there is Foran, there's your middle. Jake, DCE, Kieran Foran and Tom out the back. Walker now. Oh, that's a soft drop ball from Paseka, relieves all the pressure. Onto the field, makes a mistake, and he's ruining that one, and Canberra will welcome possession of the footy.
Yeah, they threw the big trump card out the back. Trbojevic was making his move, and Paseka. You've got to be ready at all times for the ball. Walker hits short this time. Be disappointed with that.
While we see the Seagulls play, it's time to be heard, it's time to be seen, it's time to say, I'm Manly, loud, proud, Manly forever. You can explore all the different Manly membership packages for this season. Head to manlyforever.com.au. There's a pass away, and Tomoko with it, rolls away from Cherry Evans. Just on membership, you don't have to be a ticketed member. You can be a non-ticketed member, just show your colours, get the cap, lanyard, all those sorts of things, car sticker, bumper sticker. Support your club, and Manly pushing that drive here tonight. Jake on the sideline.
Yeah, Vossi, we just saw Marty Tapau come out of the sheds after that back injury. The good news is no major issue. He's just jarred his back. He's got a bit of ice on it now. Manly still willing to say maybe touch and go for round one, but the good news is no major issue, so it shouldn't be too long for Marty Tapau.
Sorry, glimpse of a great Brett Stewart sitting behind Marty Tapau there in the dugout for Manly. What a player. What a player.
The snake.
Brett Stewart. Now Hodgson, Tarpany, left foot, but well read by the Manly defence. He's still a handful. Jake Lowe, Paseka high, Hodgson for Canberra. A little exploration mission there at a dummy half. Wighton, Papali'i for Fogarty. A former Titans captain tackled 4 from the line. At 6-0 to Manly, last tackle, Big Josh. Well, there you go. Did you see that coming?
Well, it's always an issue, isn't it, when Jamal Fogarty, we've heard from Ricky Stewart talk about his kicking game when he gets carried and tackled on the last play. Jack Wighton out on this right-hand side. Very difficult kick for a left footer, which then leaves Josh Hodgson. They sum things up beautifully there through Trbojevic. They haven't spent a lot of time down in this area, the Canberra Raiders.
Manly back with the ball again. Valame showing us a real physicality with a number 4 on his back. 21 NRL games in total. That's obviously feeling far more comfortable to start this season. Long kick. Oh, how easy is that? Hands up in front of the face from Xavier Savage. And again, manhandled by the Manly defence. Driven back some 8 or 9 metres.
And at the forefront, once again, Jake Trbojevic. Ethan Bullimore involved in the tackle, who's been busy in this game. One of their new recruits from the Broncos out on this left edge.
That play, Corey Horsburgh has run out there for the Raiders. Into the game he comes. Valame's gone to the other side of the field to take that carry. Canberra get lively. Whitehead double dummy. Tackled 40 metres from the Manly line. And this time, Wighton on the right side of the field. Last tackle, Canberra. It's been a high-speed set from them. Hodgson, the kicker. Tom Trbojevic. Canberra chasers coming through, and perfect technique from Tom at the back.
Well, once again, Josh Hodgson comes up with the kick as they get another relieving penalty out of their own end, the Manly Seagulls. But Jack Wighton getting caught on 5th and last, which then puts Fogarty into the acting half roll.
If you're watching your first rugby league for the year, you're seeing an example of the tweaking of the rules in the off-season. Last year, that's a set restart. This year, inside the 40, it's a penalty kick for line. So you concede ground when you concede a penalty such as that one early in the count.
Yeah, I like the rule. I mean, we saw the good sides last year adapt very quickly. Able to give away a set of 6 coming off their own end, making things very difficult for the attacking team. This year, it's just an immediate penalty.
Bullimore with the ball there for Manly. You've got your head around what's coming up tomorrow on Fox League, Corey. Our Super Saturday, 3 o'clock start, Warriors v Titans, then Panthers v Eels, then Rabbitohs v Dragons, and brush home with Cowboys and Broncos. Last weekend of summer, and a full Saturday afternoon and night of rugby league. The world's a good place. I know we've got some issues at the moment, but...
Really strong run on the right edge for Olakau'atu.
On the bounce! He looked to explode onto the ball. Trbojevic caught by Fogarty. Now for Foran to run. Canberra again under a little bit of pressure. Last play, Manly. Croker, Cherry Evans, kicking, looking for Saab. Here he comes. Jason Saab. It's beaten them all over the sideline. I don't think anyone touched it, did they?
No, it didn't look like it. It's gone straight to the 20-metre line. As Cherry Evans was going for the flying Saab. So good in the air. This time comes up with fresh air.
Poor old Matt Tomoka.
The big white line.
Yeah, apart from that white line, where do you take the tap? Where do you take the restart, sir? Oh, that white line. Here it was. Yeah, clean miss. Chotrich and Saab going for the ball. Horsburgh with it for the Raiders. Injury interrupted season last year. A couple of games for the Bulldogs as well for Corey Horsburgh.
Yeah, he needs a big season for the Raiders. You mentioned about the injury. And prior to that, he was spoken about for a Queensland jersey. He's got so much to offer. Horsburgh, he's aggressive. He's got a good offload. He just needs to get some good football under his belt.
His palm there, young. He eyeballed Daly Cherry Evans, then put his palm up into his chin. That's footy. Canberra with the ball. Ryan Sutton's gone out there, so they've got their English contingent of Hodgson, Whitehead and Sutton, but they've also got young Harry Rushton coming off the bench tonight. Young fella who's played for Wighton. Does Canberra make it another error? And I think we'll just whisper the completion rate for Canberra with Ricky in the coach's box so close to us.
It's so difficult in trial matches when your match fitness is still a little bit down. only a couple of games that we've seen so far this season. Yes, they train so hard over the pre-season, the off-season, but nothing compares to match fitness. And we're just starting to see a little bit of fatigue come in. Plus, throw in a couple of new combinations makes it very difficult. And as for the Canberra Raiders, well, they've only completed 7 sets for this game.
Suffering on Corey. It's Joseph Tarpany who's gone to the bench for the Raiders. Sherry Evans with it. And again, good defence. I've liked the intensity of the contest. I feel as if we've gone another level since the first week of trials last weekend. This is going to be really good viewing over the weekend here on Fox League and into Monday night when we see the Bulldogs play the Sharks. And NRLW, they are playing for points on Sunday. The triple header from McDonald Jones Stadium you'll see here on Fox League. Manly 40 metres away from the Canberra line. Foran's been good tonight. Bullimore left edge. They're going to call it an obstruction play, called by about 5 of the Raiders and agreed by referee Atkins.
Oh, mate, you still
Well, they just get it wrong down this left edge. I like
what
the Manly Seagulls have been able to do through Foran. A full season last year, he's back to his best. He's had some horrible injuries over his career. He was terrific for the Manly Seagulls last year, just getting it wrong.
Last year was the most games he'd played in a season since 2013. A grand final year for the club for Manly. Nice defence there. There's your man.
And for the Raiders,
there's your distant cousin, Parker. Corey, another good tackle.
Well, for the Raiders, the remaining 10 minutes, they just need to get through some sets and try and mount a little bit of pressure down this end, which they haven't been all game.
Back right, hold. Wait, go two.
Their first opportunity down here come up with an intercept to Saab, which led to a try as Adam Elliott comes back against the grain.
This one whetting the appetite for what we've got coming your way a little later on Fox League. Roosters and Tigers. Joey Manu in the 6 for the Roosters tonight against Jackson Hastings. Ball knocked back, play on the course. Savage does extremely well to keep it alive there. He ended up over the sideline in the Garrick tackle. They've really roughed up Xavier Savage tonight. All part of the education.
Lucky not to be called forward there. Daly Cherry Evans just rushing up on the outside.
Wighton has put it down. Medley with Walker. Here we go. Let's see Koula. Let's see him at full speed. See you later. Saab chases him all the way to the line. Lock it in, Eddie. The fastest right side we've ever seen in rugby league. Koula and Saab.
We've ever seen. That's a massive call, but once again, the Canberra Raiders come down this left-hand edge. Jack Wighton unable to hold on to it. Dylan Walker, the replacement, the super sub, finds Koula, and he runs away from Saab, although he's only in 3rd gear. Sebastian Chris not able to get over there and do enough. 2 times they've come down that left edge of Canberra Raiders, both times unable to get through it cleanly. And the Manly Seagulls are able to make you pay from anywhere.
What about Saab in support? I mean, Chris is not slow. He is going full throttle. Saab just looms up in support, strolling along. He goes past him. Look at Saab. He's chasing his young teammate to the line. Have a look at his face. This is something special, Manly fans, and all league fans, that we get to see this young talent. But for Manly fans in particular, if this develops in the maroon and white, you are in for some serious entertainment.
I would love to see the poll that the fans come up with for the fastest ever right side attack. You have dead set thrown it out there.
I'm putting it on the numbers. Well, the kids run 10.58. For those unaware, 2019 in the GPS school system representing Newington College in Sydney, Rugby Union School, of course. He runs 10.58, Corey. Fastest time in the history of GPS athletics.
There you go.
So put a football under his arm and he's still pretty quick. And Saab, well, I don't know what his fastest time is, but he'll tell you it's quick.
10.56.
And there is Ruben Garrick, successful with that one. So Manly lead 12-0. Canberra being hit hard for errors. Jake on the sideline.
Yeah, Tolutau Koula, a future superstar. He said in his first interview he did this week that his one goal this year was to debut for Manly. He's been part of their top 30 squad for a couple of seasons now. They brought him straight out of high school, straight into the top 30 squad. That's how much promise they see in him. He said he wants to debut, but the question is, where do you fit him into this side? You've got, obviously, Morgan Harper not playing tonight. Brad Parker's the other centre. And then, of course, Ruben Garrick and Saab, who were the try-scoring wizards for Manly last year. And then Tommy Turbo, who's a fullback superstar. Young Koula is specifically a fullback, he likes to say, but he's been training a lot in the centres for Manly in the off-season. So when will he get his chance? Remains to be seen, but we've got a real taste of what might be to come this season.
Well, one of the question marks that we have had over the Manly Seagulls has been their depth. And it's a great headache for Desi to have, particularly with what we've seen so far in the opening 2 games of these trials through Koula.
So Manly tries directly from Raiders' errors. One intercept and then the drop ball from Wighton. Manly, the long-range try specialists of last year, had 2 long-range ones already tonight.
You're all over the ruck, mate.
And there you go, penalty. Manly well on top coming up to half-time. And as I say, humid conditions as well. A little bit of fatigue coming up to the break. Canberra will do good to hang on here.
It was a wonderful touch finder from Daly Cherry Evans. The Saab wants to get things underway, and rightly so.
Bring it up with the touchy, mate. Come on.
All right, so set starts. 35 metres away from the Canberra line. And the man of the moment, Koula takes that first run. He's got some blood from the nose or mouth. Little badge of honour in the starting side for Manly tonight. Harry Rushton is out there, young Englishman in jumper 25 for the Raiders. Walker, foreign, over the top. Garrick for the corner, back in. Oh, well-oiled machine this. Tom Trebojevic scores. The Sea Eagles have picked up where they left off.
This is terrific play in the left edge from Kieran Foran. The trump card, that man on screen, comes up with a try, but just his decoy run on the inside. And the defensive read from Valemay and also Sebastian Chris to come in on that man allows Ruben Garrick to have a free run to the line and a simple 2-on-1 on the inside. Great vision. We talk about the experience of this football side. The man on screen coming up with the play for Garrick. I mean, he's a fair decoy runner, isn't he? Tommy Trebojevic on the inside. A lot of players would jam in on Tommy in that area. Ruben Garrick was wondering when he was going to touch the ball. It had all been right over the last 10 and 15 minutes.
Well, that's something. I mean, we call a lot of matches in the course of a year, but, you know, the Cowboys game, Manly Cowboys, is going to, you know, stick out. The performance of Tom that particular day. Need I remind you about the numbers? 20 tackle busts, a hat-trick, 5 line breaks. It was a fair performance.
Well, it was incredible what we've been able to witness from Tommy last year. I just wanted the season to keep going, considering he missed a lot of football and where this team was in the opening 5 rounds. Remember, they were calling for Des Hasler's head in the opening 5 or 6 rounds. Tommy wasn't involved. He had to run up the Corso. There was a few things going on, and they go 1 game short.
I don't mean to be a smart-ass. I ask this respectfully. How many hat-tricks did you get in your career, Phil?
No, I got 0. 0. I got 0.
Tom got 5 in the season.
Yeah.
He'd only had 2 in his career before last year, and he got a handful last season and didn't play the whole season. Just extraordinary number. And last year, we're driving memberships tonight. Told you about Manly and the Raiders as well. I'm a member of the Canberra Raiders. You can join the club as well. And we're pushing hard for the Raiders. Their membership, raiders.com.au/membership. Like Manly, all different packages you can invest in. You don't have to be in the area or able to get to home matches. You can be a non-ticketed member anywhere across Australia, New Zealand, and show your support for Ricky Stewart's Raiders. And Manly with the ball 11 metres away from their own line.
A lot's got to be said about having a squad that you're able to roll out the next year. When you go to training, when you turn up for the first day of pre-season, if there's not a stack of new faces, training becomes easy. It's just the same. They just cut and paste of what they're doing. Yes, sure, they want to work hard, but for some of these teams, as we see an error late in this half, some of these teams, they've got a lot of people, a lot of new recruits. So all those combinations, all those friendships have got to be rekindled or restarted. And it takes time. We heard from Ricky Stewart before the game talk about the combinations between Fogarty and obviously Jack Wighton. It's going to take time.
All right, Canberra's got 90 seconds. One set to see if they can post points before half-time. Completion rate 7 of 14 in this first half.
Trying to go around Manly hasn't worked. They need to play short. They need to create a little bit of momentum and look to play short, then go around them.
And here is Rushton, 20 years of age. First time I've ever said a Shevington Sharks junior in the NRL. That's where he hails from. Hudson Young with the ball. Fires an offload out like it's out of a cannon. Raiders somehow clean up through Chris. Trbojevic tracks him down.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Little free shot there for Olakawadu, right into the ribs of Sebastian Chris. He felt that one.
He started at right wing. He's now across on the left side. Xavier Savage out at right wing for the Raiders. Fogarty, nice bit of stepping. And ran into a pretty good tackle as well from Carl Lawton. Last play, Canberra. Hodgson, Horsburgh, Wighton running! Jack Wighton. Raiders fans love to see that. That is Freddie Fittler-like when he runs like that. Puts the step in, big body, crashes over the line.
Well, right on the stroke of half-time, they go to their leader, Jack Wighton. How often do we see it on the last tackle? A nice decoy runner, Hodgson out of dummy half, but Jack Wighton just going straight down the field. Don't worry about trying to go around him. It hasn't worked this half. Takes it upon himself. Strong left foot step. Jake Trbojevic, who's been one of Manly's best, unable to come across and clean up. But just the ability to come out of acting half from Josh Hodgson with some nice hard runners, and Jack Wighton just coming straight onto the ball. They just can't go around the Manly Seagulls. They've come up with error after error, try after try, in their first opportunity.
He is in the game's elite, Jack Wighton, when he's at his best. And come 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks tonight, Raiders in their first premiership game of the season against the Sharks. He'll be playing his 200th NRL game, Jack Wighton. Nice milestone, and it'll come up at home. You Raiders fans can celebrate that. So Fogarty, his first kick as a Raider, successful. That'll make him feel a little bit better going to half-time. It's been good quality in this pre-season trial from Central Coast Stadium. 3 tries to 1, and Manly leading by 16 points to 6.
Soft try by their standard. Right on the stroke of half-time. As for Ricky Stewart, would he be looking for some sort of resolve from his team? Need to hold the ball and build some pressure. You see Tom Starling onto the field now.
Second half underway from Central Coast Stadium. Canberra, who will play Cronulla in round 1, 2 weeks tonight. And Manly to feature in the first match of the premiership season. March 10, the defending champions Penrith at Penrith. Here is Chris linking up with Sutton in his 4th season as a Canberra Raider. And getting through the first set with their try scorer Jack Wighton kicking and running. Saab is across to it. In fact, looking at Trbojevic, he's gone on for young Koula. He's off the field, it appears, to start the second half. Jake will be all over that one.
The Ferrari might be in the shed.
Well,
Just cooling down.
Yeah,
well, there's a couple.
Well, I suppose you can't call a Saab a Ferrari, can you? He's a Saab.
Okay. He's the fastest Saab I've seen.
Charlie Staines is the Ferrari. He's the Forbes Ferrari. We have got some speedsters in the competition. Manly 37 metres away from the Canberra line. And this is Cherry Evans. Okay, limited opportunities in the first half. Big improver last year. Tackle Canberra. He starts this time. And Cherry Evans knows it. Full set.
Well, that was crucial. Canberra Raiders on the last tackle, just giving away 6 more tackles.
Trbojevic to Walker again, showing his value in the centre. He comes on, he's the equal of Cherry Evans as a playmaker and forward. He just plays the middle so well, Dylan Walker.
Well, it gives him a 4-pronged attack as he comes up with a short kick here, deflection, and Savage picks it up.
Kicking early on the count there.
It allows them to have that 4-pronged attack. They got Walker, they got Cherry Evans, they got Foran, also Jake Trbojevic throwed Tom out the back. Such a dangerous footy team when he comes on. Not only does he come on and offer some with the attack, he provides great energy.
Well, here's an opportunity to attack out on the left side. And Tomoko with the ball. Good tackle. Trbojevic. 1-on-1. That's good rugby league right there. And then we've got a little tangle and penalty goes to Canberra. Tomoko's run away from where the mark is. How are you going to be taking a tap from there, Matt?
Mate, you're in the way. It was slow originally, so there's no
Don't you love the
yet.
competitiveness of players
No, it
just
wasn't,
questioning
mate.
the
It was through the
referee in a
whole
trial game?
Yes, just rehearsing plays for the first round. But when another team's got a momentum, go in and question a decision. It's all part of it, isn't it? Raiders with Hudson Young. Having got that last try of the first half, it'd be a lovely double strike if they could score early here. Horsburgh, 21 metres away from the line. We say wins and losses not necessarily important in trials, but pretty sure you'll be buoyed if you're you got a bigger spring in your step if you win 2 weeks out from the season start than conceding 20 or 30. Starling linking up with Fogarty out the back. Wighton, another run for him, stepping. They got an obstruction.
And these are the combinations that Ricky Stewart was talking about that's going to take some time. This time, they just get tangled up. Such a dangerous ball runner. We saw in the closing stages of the first half come up with a try running the ball. Horsburgh just on the outside shoulder there. Not allowing Jake and Olakau'atu to do their job properly. In the end, comes up with a penalty.
Let's check in with Jake Duke, what he was able to garner from half-time in the sheds from Manly and Canberra.
Yeah, just first on Manly, Vossi, Tolutau Koula, he is nothing wrong with him, just been given a break. It's interesting just chatting to the Manly staff, how they've left some of their big stars out there. Obviously, Tom Trbojevic, Daly Cherry Evans, Kieran Foran, all still out there when you think maybe they'd be put on ice, considering how valuable they are to this team. But the Manly staff said to me, we're playing the Panthers, round 1, the defending premiers. We need to be sharp and ready to go. And Manly have actually lost their last 8 opening round matches, so they want to be sharper this year and better performing to start the season.
Which is the error in the play the ball there, but I like it. I've got no doubt that Des Hasler would have sat down with his senior players, those players you just mentioned, Trbojevic, Cherry Evans, Foran and the like, and asked them what sort of trial form they wanted, how long they wanted to play. No individual knows their body better than themselves. And to put some miles under their belt in this trial game, it's good signs. It's good signs for the club, it's good signs for their teammates, but also for themselves.
Interesting too with Canberra, when we're talking about preparing for round 1, you were talking pre-match about little Cookstar starting the season in the centre, Xavier Savage. Well, Xavier Savage has now been switched to the wing in this one, and Sebastian Chris is getting a run at fullback. He was roughed up a few times in the first half, Savage. Has Ricky made his mind up, or is he looking for further options?
Well, we got some great insight from Ricky Stewart in the pre-game on his interview in and around that. He will be going with Cookstar. He likes the way that he's able to bring the ball back. He's a big body, he's experienced, and he organically wants to bring Savage into the game the way he should.
Fogarty, that's been knocked back, big bat back, had a Wighton, and Canberra lose it at the finish. Garrick ends up with a ball for Manly. That was a bit of a chance if it did go out Savage's way there. Out on the right wing. Wilvich in the thick of the action. That is young Ben. Lawton and Parker. Lawton taking over from Lachlan Croker in the dummy half duties. He was a valuable contributor last year. Pick up for the club.
They've really picked up the intensity as we see a captain's challenge in a trial match.
Man, I've got
The Canberra
captain's
Raiders.
challenge from Manly. Manly disputing the decision of a knock-on.
Just slotted in by Jake Trbojevic pretty quickly. He was close to the action.
Harry Rushton has hold the ball.
Can you press my mic down, mate?
Do you think Rushton has reefed away? Any ripping action there, Corey? Do you want to examine that one closely?
There is no stripping motion from the Canberra player. He's simply making a tackle.
Well then,
and the ball is knocked on by Manly.
game over.
The challenge is unsuccessful.
The intent has certainly picked up in the last 5 minutes from Ricky Stewart's men in that middle third.
Challenge is unsuccessful. Canberra feed.
And that's back-to-back errors from the Manly Sea Eagles.
The challenge, you got it wrong.
See there, the analogy, pinball analogy there, that's like a ball going straight down between the flippers. Losing a challenge like that.
Okay, that's okay. Oh, mate, that's close. Mate, I'm not the one going to be angry about it.
I think, I don't know, I think Manly tried to retract the challenge there. They're just saying, well, we didn't really mean it. Can we have it back?
Let's go, guys.
On second thoughts, we don't want to challenge that decision. In hindsight. Doesn't quite work that way. Interesting formation here. Canberra with two very wide on the left side of the scrum. Tomoko and Jotrich. Xavier Savage swings round to the right. They swing to the left. And it's closed up there by Lawton. 16-6. Oh, solid. He's there again. With apologies to Trevor Gilmas, the axe, Jake Trbojevic.
Yeah, that stung Horsburgh.
He's up. He's just up.
What a game Trbojevic has had. I know we're talking trial games, but you just know every time he laces a boot what Jake's going to bring.
Here is Starling. 5 from the line, and again, there is Jake Trbojevic. All over Tom Starling.
Kawatu come reeling out of that tackle.
Wighton's kick, pretty good. Saab was slow to turn around. Boy, oh boy. Milk turns quicker. What happened to Saab there? He clocked off. And welcome back in the green jersey. Nick Jotrich scores the try. He was gone to sleep there.
Yeah, the Canberra Raiders come up with a nice little kick, left foot kick here from Jack Wighton. And Saab just give up on all ends. He's quick with the ball in hand, but bring him up into the line and ask him to turn. He does not compete on that one. And Jotrich comes up with a very, very easy try. And back-to-back tries for the Raiders, just starting to build nicely into this game. But you want to see a little bit more urgency from your team. You've got guys like Jake Trbojevic in the middle of the field, cutting people in half at will, working their absolute backside off, and he looks to his right-hand side and he sees his winger. Not this time running down the sideline, but comes up in a defensive play. You need to see more urgency. As we see Kawatu, he come reeling out of that tackle with a bit of a complaint with that right arm.
He's a big human. In the back row for Manly. Let's hope it's not serious as well. They've already got the problem with Marty Tapau. Jake will chase up that one. You saw on the screen 46 of Nick's career tries are for the Raiders. He's got 49 overall, just the 3 for the Bulldogs last year. So one short of a milestone. And over to Fogarty. This would be a nice confidence booster for Raiders fans if they see their new halfback bang one over from close enough to touch. 16-10. Make it 16-12. There you go, Canberra. Your new number 7. And first choice goal kicker, Jake on the sideline.
Yeah, how good to see Nick Jotrich back in Raiders colours. He obviously signed a 3-year deal with the Bulldogs, only played one of those seasons. He described last year as a really tough year. He obviously got a toe injury and didn't get to play much football. It just wasn't working out, and they held discussions with the Tigers maybe about going there, but he always said that Canberra was his home and he wanted to come back, and he gets on the end of a Jack Wighton kick there, and again, pleasing signs for Jack Wighton as well. He's had a try in the first half and then a nice little try assist there. So some good signs for the Raiders to get back in this game.
Just while Jake was speaking there, watching that replay, Dr. Parker, what did you detect the volley go out to? Was it a bicep?
Well, it looked like a bit of a extension of the elbow, but the one concern there is, yes, there is a bicep tendon that can be ruptured. We'll get some more information on Olakau'atu. But he didn't look too distressed. As a
Look
nice
out
kick.
here, look out. Oh, a nice bit of work from Sutton. No, hang on a second.
To kick the ball in.
Well, no, but hang on, it was... Well, I'm not sure about this. Canberra saying it was all Sutton.
But the referee's
I
saying...
say deliberately knocked it forward. Okay. Well, there is a rarely seen rule. So he has deliberately batted the ball forward for his advantage. That is a rule.
What's he supposed to do there, though, Bossy? Come forward and attack it, as opposed to standing there.
He could knock...
That's not a juggle, that's tap it.
Yes, you present a good argument. Normally that penalty is seen when you knock it for advantage over a defender.
Yes.
There they've got him in open play.
Yes.
And referee Atkins has said, no, you've knocked that forward for your advantage. Very technical. Feel very sorry for Sutton. But given that it's the 25th of February, I'll get over it quickly.
Wait there. Just wait.
Too early to get upset, Corey.
I mean, they're the rules for the punters at home that just sit there and scratch their head and go, what happened? What went wrong?
Yeah. So Manly, on the back of that opportunity, do it again, Sutton's going to do the same again. But anyway, he's learned something. Here's Walker. Cherry Evans. There's Tommy Turbo. Nice tackle. Canberra goal line defence with Wighton. He's had some good defensive moments tonight, Jack Wighton. Now Croker and a cross with foreign runners. Floated over the top. And Garrick back in field for Manly. And again, good swarming defence from Canberra. 12.5 into the second half. Walker, man of many touches, coming off the bench in this middle forward role. Croker left forward under all sorts of pressure. Manly appealing that Adewinanaida might have been offside.
Well, they were playing that set with plenty of frustration and aggression, the Canberra Raiders, after what was a call that went against them. This time, Adewinanaida just gets up in the face of Kieran Foran, doesn't allow him to play. He comes up with an error. And now, plenty of frustration in the middle.
That's enough. Off you go.
So, there you go. Tall lip. Tall lip. I can't tell you exactly.
Kicking, you can zip it up now.
There you go. Zip it up.
Off you go.
Who was it coming from? Was it more than one, Corey?
Oh, how good's footy.
Yes. Because he's not likely to change his decision at a scrum, is he?
I haven't seen one in all my time.
But it's good. You can hold it back. You know, you've been sitting on that all summer. And good luck to Grant Atkins for doing that. I've got no dramas about that at all. Set a little marker early in the season. Respect. Can't get away with that. Sutton with the ball for the Raiders.
He's provided plenty of punch, Sutton, since he's come into the fray, defensively and offensively.
Well, he's another one that might fit in the World Cup end of the year. Could be a very big year for Ryan Sutton. Offload there. Starling with the ball. Adewinanaida. Now for Fogarty. Bit of off the cuff play from the Raiders. Lots of switches there. Brings up with Valamay. And the foreign tackle. 20 from the line. 4 tackles up. Raiders. Wighton. The more he touches the ball, the better Canberra look. This one shadowed over the line by Tommy Trbojevic into the signage.
Well, he's got his hands over everything, Jack Wighton. This time comes up with another nice kick, come up with a try, very similar. Gets checked in his run, allowed to play on. Trbojevic tries to do everything he can before making a play at it.
Glance the leg and a line drop out Manly. Can't argue about that one. Doesn't look like a pre-season trial the way Jack's playing. He, just in that shot, the body language, the focus, he's reset, ready to go again.
Such a big body, Jack Wighton. You saw the shot there before.
Hear the contact at home. Bullymore, Foran, Walker, all in that tackle. Starling here, Tarpany, a second stint in the match. Sutton has gone to the bench for the Raiders. By the way, Corey Horsburgh getting some treatment for little sore ribs after that earlier shot. Big chance here for Canberra to go in front for the first time tonight. Starling. And there is an outstanding tackle by Paseka. Tarpany, and then they'll just stroll over. Boy, oh boy. That wasn't the front door, that was the front door, the French doors, the windows are all open. And the defensive line of Manly there for Tarpany to waltz over.
Well, we saw in the first half the Canberra Raiders just try and go around the defence of the Manly Seagulls. This time it was through Whitehead. Has a fresh running Papali'i on the outside. Nice quick play of the ball. And then a back against the grain, Tarpany. Off Starling at acting half. Able to crash over for a very easy try. And able to build up a little bit of pressure on the Manly Sea Eagles. Some fatigue set in. Dylan Walker comes off the line sideways. And Ricky Stewart's men have come back with 3 unanswered tries to pull level in this game.
That's alarming for Des Hasler to see a try scored in such a manner. Jake just got a double-handed touch onto the back of Tarpany on the way through, and then Jake looked up, bemused at what Walker had done off the line, as you said, Corey, going sideways, and Yap would have looked very attractive to Joseph Tarpany. Canberra in front. This is the Raiders. They've I must say, they've picked up their completion rate. They were 50%. About 7 of 14. They've since completed 8 of their next 9. And now 3 straight tries.
Well, they've really straightened up their attack too. I mean, we spoke to Ricky Stewart and he mentioned about the balance that he's got to have with Josh Hodgson, also Tom Starling. But since Starling's been out there, really straightened up his attack. Just giving early ball to those middle forwards, the likes of Tarpany, we see Hadawira and Naira leave the field.
Just on the Raiders membership packages, if you're looking to support the Raiders on the road, check out their away flexi packages at raiders.com.au/membership, and you can join the Raiders membership start from just $55. So you can check out all the different options. As I say, you can be a non-ticketed member and show off your colours, the Raiders cap, wherever you are, support Ricky's team. And that website address again, raiders.com.au/membership.
We see Jared Croker has taken the field for the first time this evening in that first receiver role on this left-hand edge. Just relieved Jack Wighton. Important year for the skipper.
Certainly is. It's a pretty good tackle by Kepi there.
One of the Manly players down in background, Vossi.
A little bit tough at the moment. Is Walker down, is it, for Manly? We're going to get a report on Olakau'atu in a moment from Jake. Last tackle in the set here for the Raiders. So Walker down. A couple of forwards wounded tonight. Kick for the Raiders from Schneider, who was a try scorer last week against the Roosters.
Yeah, Walker's down and back playing. The signs from the trainer there calling for the sideline. He's in all sorts.
There'll be 3 trainers out there in a moment with Manly on their own 30-metre line. Jake, the story on Olakau'atu first is Dr. Parker right on the bicep injury?
It's an arm injury, but it's worse actually. It's a suspected fractured arm, a forearm there for Olakau'atu. Obviously, scans and X-rays will need to be had to determine that injury, but that's not good considering what we're seeing here with Dylan Walker just limping off, and then obviously the Marty Tapau injury that happened at the start of the game. So this is turning into quite a costly trial for Manly, and as we know, they wanted to give all their stars a good run in these trials to be fit and ready for round 1, but it seems to be working against them a little bit at the moment with some of these guys coming off injured.
Yeah, well, Dylan Walker just grabbing straight from the knee there. And hopefully for himself and the Manly Seagulls, he's okay. But getting back to Olakau'atu, whilst it may be a fractured forearm, a much better result than a torn bicep tendon, if that's the case, Fossey.
Jake will check on Dylan Walker for you Manly fans watching. Kick for the line, 1 bounce over the sideline. And in fact, referee Atkins straight away will call a drinks break.
Play the ball to the Raiders. Where do you want it? Yeah.
At 18 points to 16 to Canberra, a game that at one stage they trailed 16-0. Scored the last try of the first half and have scored the opening 2 of the second. So into the huddles they will go, and a 2-minute break for the respective sides, yet to use all their players. They're all up on their feet, those that haven't had any game time tonight. Some of the young players, Manly have the likes of Kyo Weeks and Eden Ackland on their bench.
And for the fans sitting at home who haven't seen a lot of these young players due to the COVID that was spread across the competition, a lot of the second grade teams didn't have an opportunity to play, and now they get their opportunity.
Let's go down to the sideline. Corey, Jake standing by with a special guest.
Yeah, I'm with Jamal Fogarty, Bossy, the Raiders' new recruit. Jamal, your first hit out in the green. How did it feel?
Yeah, it's very muggy up here. It's kind of a bit like Queensland weather. You know, the ball's very slippery. You know, in the first half we gave them too many penalties and dropped a couple of balls ourselves, and you know, they were coming out of their half fairly easy there, and we spoke about half-time, just possession and holding the ball, and it kind of showed in that first 20 minutes in the second half, you know, what we can do when we hold the ball, so we just got to try and concentrate on that, especially early in the round. You know, everyone's nervous and excited about footy, but if we can just hold our nerve and hold the ball, you know, I think we're in good stead.
What are you aiming to bring to this Raiders side?
Yeah, just a bit of direction, to be honest, and a kicking game. We've been working hard with that, with Sticky, you know, and Bish, he's our kicking coach there, so just trying to steer the boys around when needed. You know, they're pretty experienced forward pack there, senior players, so just jumping on the back of them when they're a bit cross-eyed and fatigued, and hopefully, you know, me, Jackie and Saab, or Chance Nickel-Coxstad, who's not playing tonight, can do something special this year.
Just finally on Jack Wighton, you mentioned him there, a stunning start, he's playing really well. You must be so excited for the combination you guys can form.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the stuff he's been doing at training, you know, it's pretty freakish, and he's a big body too, so if he wants to run over blokes, he's kind of got that flick of the switch and can do that, but also he's got, you know, massive skill in him as well, so we just got to try and keep working together and unlocking that throughout the year, and that goes for everyone in the team. You know, we need everyone healthy for the season to have a good rip into it.
Thanks, Jamal. Good luck for the season.
Thanks, Jackie. Cheers, mate.
They've signed a really good player, but he's a really good fella too, Jamal Fogarty, and his leadership qualities were recognised in his time at the Titans. You saw Jack Wighton on the bench for Canberra. That's why Schneider's out there. Got another penalty here. We've had a few obstruction penalties tonight. That's how Manly got the ball. And now high tackle. And don't want any more injuries for Manly.
Well, there's been a host of changes for both sides. Des Hasler's pulled the trigger. He's got Tommy Trbojevic off, Daly Cherry Evans, Jake, Saab, Garrick. So he's giving a lot of these youngsters the remaining time in this game.
Don't mind the number 23, Kyo Weeks, who you just saw there. Garrick's off the field now for Manly. No injury there. So Seagulls, to Lewis in the centre of the field. Let's see if they can keep their play together, not be disjointed with so many other players now on the field. Played by Romanos, Lebanon International for Manly here. And now Kepi, Soldiers almost to the goal line there. Into the final quarter of the contest we go, with Roosters and Tigers to follow on Fox League. Foran with a short pass, and lovely defence low down there by Schneider and Chris on Bullymore. Manly 15 away. Croker in a playmaking role, and Romanos backing his way, or attempting to go through that way through the Raiders' defence. Foran's kick is knocked down. Have Canberra got a speedster? And Hadawinanaida picks it up. He's looking for someone. He can't find any man in a lime green jumper to throw to.
Xavier Savage is the man you want in that position. Hadawinanaida, named to start this game, has come off the bench and once again provided plenty of punch. Such a versatile player.
Up together, guys, and lock in. Hold.
So Canberra up by 2. 19 minutes to go. Tarpany with the ball. Another offload. He's in for a good season. Tarpany shown his talents again. Reminded us all in the All-Stars. He's picked up tonight with some really special plays. Babalihi. Five tackles up here for the Raiders. And now Starling on the last. Schneider, we got a little taste of first grade last year. Kick to the corner. It's come off Raiders first, and then Tafua over the sideline.
Where do you want? You don't get the choice here to knock
So
on.
Manly will get the
Play
ball,
here. It's 10 in.
and I don't think you can argue that.
Mark is up.
Difficult to do under pressure, running onto it. Schneider
It's James Schiller in the headgear.
straight into the cheek of George Tafua.
I told you the story last week, but the nephew of Brett Mullins out on the right wing here for Canberra.
Hold.
On Kepi.
Bit of summer fun. Foxley. Solid shots. Coaches learning a bit about their teams tonight. Croker kicks from outside the 30. It takes a right-hand turn inside the opposite 30.
But Canberra all over the Manly Seagulls defensively in this second half. I've got no doubt Ricky Stewart will have challenged his men in the middle third to go after the game. And he's certainly seen that. This one here through the fearless leader, Papali'i on Kepi.
Just hold, mate. Wait a sec.
Two
back
big
here,
men. Whitehead, Sutton,
Back here.
they've all been involved. The last couple of sets, Manly been trying to find some easy outs. Daly Cherry Evans has gone for a 40-20 this time. Croker.
Go on that group. Let's go. Hold.
So a lot of the young fellas now getting a go. Albert Albuwadi's out there as well. He took that previous run for Canberra. Jumper number 5 on his back.
Hold. Wait.
Raiders have also brought on the left side now. Inexperienced. They've got Michael Asamoah playing on the outside, and this ball has gone forward and over the sideline, diving. Trying to keep it in the field of play with Schiller.
What do you reckon?
But it's rookies right and left for Canberra right now.
Yeah, he just overplayed his hand here. Corey Harawira-Naera was a nice little play down the right-hand side. Whitehead, who's had a terrific second half, able to get him one-on-one. Harawira-Naera just sort of put his nose on the ground and played the ball. He knows it.
All right, so a lot of the hard heads, the experienced players going off in one swoop. It's Tarpany, Papali'i, Whitehead all off. And that's trial footy, that's what can happen. Hodgson's already on the bench.
And as a player, when you come off at a time like this in the game, you actually do breathe a sigh of relief. You've got through the trials, you're feeling good, you've blown a few cobwebs out.
Good insight, Corey. And that, you know, we'll see you in 2 weeks now to some of these superstars of the Raiders side. Likewise for Manly, Cherry Evans there, Jake Trebojevic. They're watching intently from the sideline. Starting wingers are off the field. Last tackle. It's almost like a game within a game when we get to the last 15 minutes with all these changes now. Foran's bomb out Schiller's way. He took off early. He's lost the ball. There's coverage though at the back. And they do very well to stay in the field of play.
And that's one man that hasn't left the field. It's Kieran Foran, comes up with a nice kick there.
It was. I just thought the leap might have been a fraction early.
As the rain starts to tumble down here.
Oh, that's a shame. Shame for Jake. Shame for the crowd out in the open. Jake asked me, we parked our cars together. He said, well, I need my rain jacket. I said, nah. Don't worry about it, Jake.
I went and got it, Bossy. I didn't trust your rain forecast, and it's very wrong.
What gave it away?
In fact, nice array of jackets and watches in the back of Jake's car. Manly with the ball. 30 metres out from their own line.
It's really starting to pick up pace here.
What happened, Corey? Who flicked the switch here? This is back to what we've experienced the last few days. I mean, this is monsoonal. We've gone from no rain at all to times 100. Benji just checking if he's required on the sideline again tonight.
You see Mick Innes down there on the sideline with him. His hair dye is starting to run in a minute.
Oh, steady on.
You know what I'm saying, eh?
I mean, it's true, but don't need to give away trade secrets.
Just got a little concern here.
It's Ben Trebojevic this time, Corey.
Yeah.
I thought originally the trainer had given the thumbs up, but now Ben's back on the deck, and look, you don't muck around with these things. If there's any sort of problem, there'll be no risk.
Just checking the right knee there.
Yeah, well, again, their first round match, they have the honour of the season opener against the Panthers. That is under 2 weeks away. That is March 10. That is Thursday week, Corey, here on Fox League. And they may have a fair casualty list out of this trial tonight.
He's going to stay on Trbojevic.
I can't believe this weather. This is so heavy, folks. This rain here. This is as heavy a rain as you will see. You'd think you're in the tropics. This is outrageous for the crowd that have come out tonight. And for the players now, totally different conditions. And for the Tigers and the Roosters, who will feature tonight here on Fox League, their game plans will change to start the match. Canberra with a bit of business to do here. 12 minutes to go. From 16-0 down to 18-16 in front. But a lot of rookies out there right now. Very different to the way they started the game. Craker's no rookie. But he never really had control of that one, and it's ended up over the sideline.
Impossible task, wasn't it? Caught the ball above his head, didn't have control, and tried to promote it in this monsoonal rain. As you mentioned, Bossy, it's coming in. The players down on the sideline don't like it. They've got the chairs up over their head.
Well, they'll be underwater on the sideline where the artificial grass is. There's nowhere for the water to sink in.
Poor old Jake Duke on the sideline.
No, he'll be right. Manly from their own 20-metre zone. Extraordinary. Oh, and rushing out of the line in the wet. Corey Wighton. There it is. Paseka.
He's put the awning up.
He's got the chair over the top, painted it. Oh, now that's even better. He's got a little viewing area.
I like it.
Nice work. Daniela Paseka, very inventive. Campbell with the ball coming off their own 10-metre line. I don't know if you're coach now, do you want your teams out there for the last 10, or are you happy just to call them back in now, Corey? Is there anything that can be determined in
gentlemen's agreement, you think?
That's what I'm saying. Conditions like this for the last 10, what are we going to learn? This is just tuck it under the wing.
Well, two very
take
intense,
the tackle.
Yeah, two very intense coaches in Des Hasler and Ricky Stewart. Is a nice shot there on Harawira-Naera. Has hurt him too.
Try and shift the ball, but that ball control is going to be hard. That was a heck of a shot on Corey Harawira-Naera, and he's sucking in the big ones now. And kick under pressure. Kepi came up on Schneider there. No kick will be easy to field right at the moment. That one's gone over the sideline. It was from outside the 40. By the way, you know that last week we gave big coverage to the fact that the NRL has teamed up with the Red Cross as we see the tackle on Harawira-Naera again. We're supporting Tonga, the events of January 15. Corey, just in the past week, internet services returned. All those weeks on, so much still to be done there, and a lot of it requires financial support, you know, drinking water and access to drinking water. Homes damaged, so the Tonga Relief Appeal. Find out how to support it at nrl.com/Tonga.
It was terrific news, wasn't it, Bossy, for Tonga? And I'm sure that Rugby League world, as we are, will bind together to do everything they can to help out.
Rushton up there in the tackle. Now we're keeping you abreast of all the injuries that Manly have suffered tonight. Jake's been able to find out a little more about the injury to Dylan Walker. What's the story there, Jake?
Yeah, Manly are hopeful it's not anything too serious. He just was complaining of a sore knee. They're not really worried about anything major, but again, it'll have to be scanned to determine the extent of that one, but they're hopeful that it's nothing major and won't keep him out for too long.
Kippy had a late offload there, but with some authority. You don't want to be pushing passes when it's like this. Last tackle, and this kick from Foran. He's remained out there. And the Raiders have it covered. And with it is Hopewadi, Beacon Hill Jr. coming up against Manly here. So Canberra on their own 10-metre line. If you're worried about the result, well, it's very much in the balance too. The difference with 7.5 to go. It may be an error that decides the game in these conditions. Canberra to seal it or Manly to edge back in front. Manly's first 2 tries came from Canberra mistakes, one in intercept and one a drop ball by Jack Wighton. Long-range tries in the first half.
And whilst we see a lot of stars on the sideline, rightly so, their job's done for the trial matches, as we see Starling come out acting half for a 40-20, wanting it to skid on.
He's got some distance on it. Welcome back, George Tafua. No NRL last year, still a very popular player. Georgie boy.
It gives the coaches the ability to look at some of these younger players. Obviously with COVID, that's going to hamper our competition at different stages. You need to require some depth. Ooh. It's a lazy arm there from Croker. Just gets Trebojevic across the neck to chest region.
Yes, well, this will advance Manly upfield, provided they find the sideline, and they will do that. Scoring has totally stopped for them. Haven't got a point in this second half. Shows you the importance of the Wighton try before half-time. Not that, we're not playing for sheep stations tonight, but obviously Canberra were buoyed by that. They go at the half-time 16-0. Who knows? Manly score straight after half-time, and you're putting the cue in the rack. Oh, Seagulls here, and there's an error made by Aidan Ackland. But again, you can excuse the players for those sorts of errors right now. It's going to be a tough slog. Tigers and Roosters still to come here on Fox League. And again, get your head around tomorrow. Massive day, 4 games. The Warriors and Titans will kick it off from Redcliffe at 3 o'clock. We've got the Panthers and the Eels. We've got the Rabbitohs and the Dragons, and then the Cowboys and the Broncos. On Sunday, triple header of NRLW from McDonald Jones Stadium, to be followed by the Storm and the Knights, the one NRL trial on Sunday, and Monday night football again on Fox League, Sharks and Bulldogs, a 7 o'clock kickoff down at Cronulla, back home Monday night. That's big. Big for pre-season Rugby League, the last day of February on Monday. Last day of summer.
Yeah, there's plenty to play for all those sides you just mentioned. So we see a penalty given to Canberra.
Head out of your head, you don't drive your head in there. Yep, there you
Just
go.
under 5 minutes remaining. We see Starling go the quick tap now.
No risk kicking for line there. So into the last 5 minutes we go. Starling's been good for Canberra, and we know he's good. He's every bit a first grader. And the Raiders, Stoner almost putting Hadawinanota through. Nice play for the Raiders. The man wearing jumper number 18. And the Raiders looking to seal it. But ball short and loose. So no celebrations from Brad Morkos there.
Yeah, without doubt, plenty of spark in around the ruck with Starling. This time gets out down the short side off a quick play. The ball, wonderful run there from Hadawinanota. Just needs to poke his nose through there. The conditions too hard to take.
Snyder showing us a bit. He had the one bench appearance last year. Try scorer last week against the Roosters. Corey Hadawinanota coming off for the Raiders, but he's shown a bit of control in his game. Need the depth. Brad Schneider is putting his hand up to Coach Ricky Stewart just to say that I've worked hard all off-season. I can handle it, Coach.
Savage will take his place out on that right wing.
All right, this scrum 10 metres out from the Manly line.
Head down, Sean.
I don't know if you could play Des Hasler for a moment. What's your overview of the performance with 3 minutes to go?
Well, I think you'd be very impressed with the opening stanza for the Manly Seagulls. But the way that they've allowed the Canberra Raiders to come back into this game certainly won't impress him. It is a trial match, and I know that they'll be wanting to go away with a clean bill of health with their side, which doesn't look like it's going to be the case, but he certainly would have been happy with the way they started. They started quite well. They were defensively very strong.
Oh, loose ball here. Lurking for the Raiders. Schiller, who's shifted across from the right side to the left, almost got the loose ball there.
Canberra Raiders will end up with the ball in possession with the remaining 2 minutes. They've had a terrific second half. They've done everything that Ricky Stewart has asked at half-time. They've completed, they've controlled.
A lot on the bench, a lot staying on their feet. The rain thankfully has eased. It's still raining here, but nothing like it was 5-10 minutes ago. So away from the scrum, and Snyder will take it. Open side, the Raiders. It was red, but offside, they're saying. Koula came up with a tackle. He's back on for Manly. See, if I'm Ricky, I say go penalty goal here. I know you shouldn't kick penalty goals in trials, but I don't think there's anything more to be gained, but they've taken the tap. I think Ricky wouldn't mind if they just counted down the clock. Enough's been done, kick the goal, and that'll do us. Raiders, though, they're thinking otherwise, and again, solid defence over the top, forces the error on Sutton. It was Sipley. Kieran Foran still looking to urge Manly. Let's finish off the game, the final minute.
Well, he's been out there for the whole duration, Foran. But you're spot on. They had the opportunity to wind down the clock, finish the game. Everyone go home, have a hot shower. And now Manly, what can they do with 1 minute remaining?
Well, I said in the first half, kings of the long-range try. They're going to need one here.
They're down a little bit of strike, Rossi.
Well, they might be looking for this bloke if they can give him a little bit of space. Koula, well contained there. Croker. And with Kepi, they can't manufacture an offload there. In fact, not Kepi. That is DeLewis, and Manly, it's just a little tough in these conditions to come up with a flamboyant play that if 2 competition points was up for grabs, they'd be looking to throw it around. It's been a regulation set despite the context of the game. Foran on the last tackle, goes the grubber kick through the line, overrun by Big Sipley, and Canberra come up with a ball. Now Ricky's saying that'll do us, that'll do us. Penalty. Oh, Sinbin with no seconds on the clock. Referee Atkins says off you go. And Canberra can't really be bothered going any further. They say, referee, let's just call off the show. So I think Atkins still says we still have to play out the game. He's with Raiders players offside. He is sticking to the rules, referee Atkins.
We've got the Roosters warming up in the background. The trainers have just brought the hip pads out on the field. Now we're kicking for touch.
This will be some try. Well, that's the penalty kick for touch. It's all over. So there you have it. Very interesting result. One of the storylines, injuries to some Manly troops. That's a worry. Manly led 16-0. Some flashy long-range tries in the first half. Jack Wighton a 4-pointer just before the break. And Canberra scoring the only tries of the second half. And they walk away with a victory over Manly by 18 points to 16.